In this video, we're taking a look at how SmartBear QMetry's AI-powered intelligence can help you automatically generate test cases directly from your requirements. We'll see how it can create complete test cases with step-by-step details, and how you can also use it to enhance, refine, or improve existing test steps in just a few clicks.
As a process, any QA team member would receive requirements from the product team, like product manager, product owner, who is responsible for creating all these requirements in terms of user stories and so on. So once we have those requirements in place, be it coming from Jira, Rally, Azure, or even using QMetry's internal requirements module. So I'll open one of the requirement. This requirement is for mobile food ordering system. So my product manager has given me one of the requirement that I need to create test cases and then execute this. As a requirement, I would have use case, acceptance criteria, any additional notes if required. So QI will understand the context, the requirement details that are provided, and based on that context, it would create a set of test cases for you. So let's see how it works. You click on generate test cases button. So it will read through the requirement. It will read through your use case, acceptance criteria, your summary of the requirement. And based on that, it would give you a set of test cases that you can further modify or review and then utilize it for testing. Initially, it will give you a number that for this requirement, QI will generate 7 test cases, and you'll later have the list of those 7 test cases available here. All right. So the QA has generated 7 test cases. We can verify the quality of results by just having a look at the step level detail and test case description. So it has not only created test case summary, it has also created step level description and detailed expected outcome and description for our use. Since it's an AI generated content, we can always go into individual steps and modify or remove the steps if required. If you don't think that the test case pertains to your use case, you can choose to decline the test case altogether. So if you want to decline it, just decline it and go to the next one. Let's assume that you have reviewed all the test cases and now you want to create those test cases. So just click on this create test case button. It will not only create those test cases in your repository, it would also associate those test cases with the user story that you have utilized. So it saves a lot of time for you to create those initial set of test cases, and it will also give you an estimated time that you have saved by utilizing this feature. So we can see the test cases are associated with the requirement now. Now, it's not always the case that we have our user stories clearly defined. So for that, we also allow users to create test cases based on a user provided description. So to create that, go to your test case module and under generate test cases button, there's an option to provide a user description. Now we would expect a minimum of 30 words to understand the context, and based on the context, we would create test cases for the requirement or the description that's selected. Let's have a look at how this would work. So I'll go to individual test case. Let's say this is the test case that I want to utilize. This test case is not having any step or even description available for us. Now to create these details, I can utilize QMetry intelligence. I click on this button that says generate details and steps using QI. I can utilize one of the existing linked requirements. I can also utilize one of the other requirements as a context. I can even enter my description manually to create test case steps and details. So I'll paste my requirement and I can click on this create new version. So the process would be similar. It would understand your requirement, it would understand the description that you have entered, and based on that, it would generate test case details like descriptions and steps. So we can see this QA is generating test cases, and we can utilize the same window to modify and review the test steps and description that's being generated. Okay, so now we have our step level details and description available. So if we want to save it, post reviewing, we can click on save new version and it would help us create a new version for the test case that we have just created. Let's now also have a look at how you can refine or improvise your existing test steps using QI. So I'll go back to the test case list view and pick one of the test case that I'm already using. Let's say this is the test case that I want to improvise. Now, once you are in the edit mode, you can see a button next to each step that says improve your test step content using QI. Let's say if I want to improve the last step, I can click on this button. I can ask QI specifically to refine the text, to proofread the text, enrich the vocabulary, or anything else that I need help with. I can even ask QI to regenerate the steps altogether. I can even ask to suggest alternative ways to put this step. So let's go ahead and see how it works. So I've asked QI to generate alternatives for the steps, and based on understanding, based on the context, it would suggest few alternative options for me. I can choose any option, like let's go with alternative 2, and I can then revamp my existing test steps using QI. So this is how you can use QMetry intelligence feature to boost your testers productivity and save time.